Cool. Thanks, brother. I just want to see, is everybody joining? There's still people joining. Everybody. Just mute everybody. Admit all. There's one or two people still out.
I was absolutely
Monique, Monique and Annele, I'm just going to mute everybody, so you can just unmute yourself if I've muted everybody, okay? Okay, cool. Is everybody in? No, there's more people entering. Emmanuel, can I just ask you to admit anybody that joins now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then we can kick off. So cool. Thank you, Emmanuel. So good evening, everybody. So yeah, this is our third session, and tonight we're going to focus primarily on nutrition, nutrition from a hydration perspective, from a food perspective. We're also going to discuss, what to expect from a race village, what to expect from a water point. We've got a huge participation, number of riders this year. So we've got not probably, people that hasn't finished the Munga, around about 55% of the total riders this year. So, for those that's done the Munga, it might be, old news. For most of it, it will be, information that they've never heard before. So I'm just going to go quickly through the agenda. So we're going to ask Monique and Richard from Namit Sport, named sport as some of you call it, but it's actually Namit Sport. They are nutrition sponsor, and Monique is a nutritionist, and she's going to say a little bit about herself in a short while. But they're just going to talk about what is the principles about endurance, riding, and hydration, and how does it fit with a Namit Sport supplements, and what we can expect, and what can you try in the next 3-4 weeks before the Munga. Then Annele is going to join us thereafter. Once they're done, Annele is going to join us. Passion for wholeness. So that's about a whole range that she created with food that doesn't have sugar, doesn't have gluten, that can help you to actually, all that nausea that you get, and, years long experience that Annele, has done, and a lot of development and R&D that's gone in there. And then Alex and I will just share with you, the basics about solids, solid foods, and what you can expect this year, from the race villages, and open it up for questions and answers thereafter. So yeah, that's basically the introduction. Just before I go into that, I have shared this afternoon, just before the session, the rider race prep document. There's a lot of information in there. There's also, the voucher coupon books for Namit Sport, as well for Passion for Wholeness, so that we're going to share with you. So if you want to try some of these products, but after the sessions, we will talk about the race briefing document as well. So without any further ado, Monique, I'm going to hand. You can just unmute yourself, Monique, and yeah, then you can share your screen, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Monique. I am a registered dietitian, and I have the pleasure of doing some consulting work with Namit Sport, and being with you today to have a nice chat around nutrition principles around the Munga. Listen, I spent a little bit of time on the website having a look at what you guys get up to, saw the YouTube videos, and it is next level. And just ahead of time, I just want to say it's unbelievably incredible. I work with a lot of athletes, and I think this is just taking it to a whole new ball game. Disclaimer out there, I am not at any means the level that you guys are at, but what I do know and love is sports nutrition. So I really hope today, the next little bit, to give you a bit more specifics around how to fuel your Munga with a couple of basic nutrition strategies to get it right. And if we have any questions, please pop them in the comments or save them until later, and I'll gladly assist. Rashad from Lammet Sports will also just pop in if there's any queries that he can assist with from a product point of view. So one thing I realized is by the time you get into something like this ultra endurance event of the Munga, this absolutely unique multi-day state race, is that you know what you're doing at this point. There's no way you get here if you didn't. And probably the reason that you got a lot this far is that your training has been amazing, your sleep has been good, which means your recovery has been good, and your nutrition has been pretty decent too. So today what we want to do is really just remind you of a couple of principles on how to just take it up a notch. And whenever I'm dealing with patients in my practice, I always refer to an analogy of supercars or sports cars, and how, I always ask them the question, how would you treat a supercar? If you were given access to a Lamborghini, what would you do? What fuel would you put in it? And the truth is, you would put in the very best fuel to make sure that you maximize that performance. And it's absolutely the same with you and your bike. You are that engine on that bike, and we need to give you the very best fuel and make sure that you're meeting everything that you need for that maximum performance. In a multi-stage event like what you're doing, a multi-day event, not only is it important because of what you're doing that morning and through the day, remember that you are also just initiating a recovery from those early days, because you're going to get back on that bike the next morning and again the morning after that. So it's absolutely essential to make sure that you are practicing your fueling strategies, because your nutrition choices matter. It is very important as part of your journey. Years ago, I had a nice chat with a sports conditioning coach, and he gave me this analogy of a triangle, and how when you are training, the athlete needs to focus on their triangle being the strongest shape in the world, right? And he was saying how one of the tips of that triangle are your training, one tip is the sleeping, and the third is the nutrition. And if you are not getting either of those three right altogether, that triangle falls flat. And it led me to just want to share this quote with you. I really enjoy Professor Asker Jerkendrup. He is a Dutch professor in sports nutrition, but he's also a professional triathlete. And I just love the saying that he puts out, and I share it with all my athletes. Good nutrition will not make an average athlete great, but average nutrition can make a great athlete average. And this for me just absolutely sums up that if you don't get it right, no matter how much you prep on that race day, average nutrition, not making sure you're getting in enough carbs, electrolyte depletion, and you're not repeating those, not getting enough fluid in the heat that you're going to be enduring, it can actually really make or break what we are doing at the end of the day. So with this in mind, I'm here today to chat to you on behalf of Lammet Sports, the nutrition sponsor for the race, on a couple of ways that we can introduce our nutrition principles and link it to some of their really great and well-designed products. Well, Jock just kind of shared around how there was a race day pack that recently went out, and I was on the website on the weekend having a look. It's quite a document, and I was trying to read through it and really get a grasp as to what you guys are going to be putting yourself through. But of course, my mind went straight to the nutrition and hydration section. So most of you are going to be taking some good time to go through with this, but I just pulled out a couple of key aspects around the nutrition and hydration part. I think it was section 18, if I remember. So a couple of key pointers. 5 race stations are what you are going to have access to. They'll be roughly about 175 to 200 Ks apart for food and drink. And in addition to that, 10 water points will be situated, and it'll be within 60 to 90 Ks, either from another water point or when you are coming into a race village. And only liquids and race type snacks will be available at these points. One point which I found really interesting, no excessive use of water other than for drinking permitted. This obviously ties into the excessive heat that you are likely going to be experiencing. But what stood out for me was what quite important, and so your responsibility as a rider to carry enough food and water between these checkpoints and water stations. So we want to delve a little bit into that, how to do it, when to do it, or which best way to do it on these nutrition and hydration principles. So let's kind of really hone in on 3 key strategies. I mean, I could talk about sports nutrition forever. We got half an hour to get through a couple of key basics to fuel your ride. So I came up with 3